Right, how's it going, guys? This is another huge debate on Full-Time Devils today, ahead of the big Manchester United-Liverpool game, huge game. We thought we'd get the Redmen TV here, and since I'm going to be outnumbered all weekend at Anfield, I thought, well, let's get two of them in. And also, I thought it'll be good, since, you know, it's kind of easy for me, this, because we're having a debate, and to be honest, I don't think there's any arguments really between Liverpool and United at the minute.
There's loads of arguments.
I think it just seems pretty obvious. Let's just look at how it's gone already this season. I mean, there's not really that much to argue about.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty clear.
You've defo won the 7 games played title.
That's what I mean. Though we've won everything so far. So I mean, no one is in disagreement. I don't think about who's having the better season so far and stuff like that. This year,
because you're comfortably top of the table as well.
Well, I don't mean that, but I'm just saying. When it comes to United and Liverpool, I mean, it's obvious that we've had the better start.
You have had a better start than us. I think we can all agree that that would be an uphill climb for us to contend that we had a better start to the season.
No, I'm going to agree with you.
Right, no, shut up. We're not getting into that. There's no argument there. Listen, let's talk about past United and Liverpool games. I thought that's where we're going to have the most fun. We both had some good ones. Go on then, you know what? Just put it out there. What is your favourite in your lifetime? Favourite Liverpool versus Man United memory ever?
I'll go with the favourite one that
I'll cringe.
One of the let's go with the most recent great one, I guess. Go back to 2008, 2009 Old Trafford.
Yeah, I love that.
Right, okay.
When United took a 1-0 lead and everyone went, "Ooh, what's going to happen here?" Vidic basically crumbled to dust in front of Fernando Torres, and Steven Gerrard kissed the camera. Dossena came off the bench and scored
again.
Second
time in a week.
So that was it. That was pretty good. In terms of what I've seen with my own eyes, probably the 3-3 draw at Anfield for Neil Ruddock with the equalising header, and he nearly knocked himself out cold. That was something else, like in terms of atmosphere, and for a draw as well. It gives you a mad indication of, you know, how much those games mean. To basically get a point out of a game when we were 3-0 down in that game and had been, you know, I was very young at the time, like, but yeah, absolutely unbelievable.
Always is the ones when you're really young, though, innit? Because it's sort of like just what gets you into
because
football.
You never used to drink when you were young, so
so you remember it a bit more
vividly. Like.
I love the Europa League. You know, because we never played in Europe and stuff like that. And to be honest, it was just nice and easy for us. And the atmosphere at Anfield was just brilliant.
You know what?
And that reaction just makes it all the more
but the
sweet.
thing is, that game, right? Because I have that reaction to certain Liverpool versus United games where, you know, Liverpool have played really well and beaten us. And that game, I'm not saying that Liverpool weren't great, but United, man, I remember saying it after the game, it was the worst Man United performance that I've ever seen. And that's including the time that... Why am I bringing this up? I don't know why I'm bringing this up. That you beat us 3-0 at Old Trafford under Moyes as well. It was horrible to watch that.
Yeah, I think I made the right call there, then, didn't I?
Horrible to think about.
That was the reaction that I wanted, and now we've fist bumped.
I think for me, you know. I have to look back at the John OShea game. That was always amazing. I remember whenever I watched that back, it was brilliant, just the way that it came out of nowhere, John OShea to do it. However, I want to say one in actual very recent memory, and that is Juan Mata's. The whole Juanfield game, a little bit cringe, I know. But, mate, I think it had everything, that game. I think it had, you know, the way that it was after the Gerrard slip, and it was a little bit of pressure on him coming into the game, and then... How long did he last? Was it 30 seconds?
If that. Yeah, I don't know. It was a bad day. It was a bad day. I remember very little of that football match because the second that happened, the second that Gerrard gets sent off, it was game over. We offered very, very little in that match. I think Sturridge had a couple of like half chances or whatever. And yeah, no, that was a bad day. Just
satisfying for United fans, I think, that towards the end of Gerrard's career, he not only managed to lose you the league, but he also managed to lose you one of his last games against Man United. I'm not trying to dig it in, but he did. He
definitely did.
Nah, it's a 38 game league season.
I know what you're saying. There isn't a final in the Premiership, but yeah, I'm going to go for Juanfield. I think it had everything. It had the red card to the man that you wanted. The United fans wanted to get sent off. Don't say it. Don't say it. It's not something I've made up. It's something on Twitter.
That's a Juanfield is a real thing.
I cringe at it just as much, but it's now it's embedded in my vocabulary.
To your credit, you've not gone like hashtag Juanfield, which would have made it worse. Is it a hashtag?
You know what's a hashtag now. But yeah, I'm going for that. I had the amazing goal, I had the red card, it had everything. Right, second point, Mourinho versus Klopp. We all know who'd win when it comes to dental hygiene, but we're not talking about that. we're talking about performance so far this season and so far at the two clubs. Has Jurgen Klopp managed to get a better record than Brendan Rodgers yet?
Yeah.
Just? Or is it, just about...
That's based off the first amount of games of Rodgers, isn't it?
Yeah,
right,
you're comparing his opening spell as a manager.
Is that it? Well, you do see these things, though, don't you, online that are misleading the way they do these things, and that's the way they do it.
It's like Wanfield. He's much better than that. This is a weird thing. People do this. I've done this on a few points recently. Like, people go, oh, he's got a similar record to Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers was really good. Brendan Rodgers was a really good manager for Liverpool for the first couple of seasons, certainly. But no, the Jurgen Klopp thing is that he is the perfect fit for Liverpool, and he's got us playing some amazing footy. Mourinho, it's working at the moment for you. Very, very, very well. I think we can all agree, as we said at the top of the show, I think it's fitting really nicely. It will be interesting to see what happens, not so much this season, but what happens next season and the season after that. And is he capable of doing what you guys really want, and that's to have another guy come and build a dynasty at the club, or whether he is that last throw of the dice from the owners to kind of kick-start Man United back up the league, because we're living proof that you go a few years without a title, becomes a decade, becomes 2 decades very, very quickly. So yeah, I think it's going all right for him, isn't it? I think that's fair to say, but yeah, we'll see.
I think that I kind of disagree with that about the thing that United fans all want is to build a dynasty. I mean, obviously I agree that if that was a possibility, I'd love the next Fergie to come in, but it's just not going to happen, I don't think, in modern day football. And I think it's the same with Liverpool. It's like I'd look when you first appointed Klopp, I was saying if they give him the time, he'll be great and he'll make them a really, really good club. But I just don't think he'll get the time. I think he'll have a couple of dodgy finishes in the league and they'll get rid. And I think that's the case for United fans as well. We're not all expecting Mourinho to come here and be here for 10 years. You know what I mean? I think that the thing that we want more than anything is to win the league title. Like, that is it, full stop. We want to win that league title again. And I think that so far this season, he's definitely going the right way.
Probably should have hired Pep.
Really? I don't know. There's a lot of debate at the time whether you'd go for Mourinho, Klopp, or Pep if they were all possible. And I think that looking back at the minute,
I think when you compare the two managers, Paul's right. Klopp fits us.
Yeah.
He fits the fans, he gets the fans, he totally understands him, the fans are bought into him, into his style of football and stuff. Like, we can't compete on a financial level with Manchester United, with Chelsea, Manchester City, so we're trying something different. Now, that's not to say that I agree, and I'm happy that we can't compete with them. Of course, we want Liverpool to strive and spend as much money as everyone else. But if you haven't got that money, you've got to find someone who can get a little bit more out of your squad than maybe the others. I think what Mourinho's shown over the last few years, he's very good at spending money. And he buys league titles with that money, and that's a bit harsh. You know what I mean? He manages the sides to win league titles, but he spends a lot of money to do that. Liverpool don't have that money, so Mourinho would never be a good fit, even if he ever wanted to come to us, because he's not shown me that he can compete on a level playing field with some of the other sides around, spend the money. He overspends, and that's fine. He's allowed to, and he wins league titles. That's sound. You would never get that at Liverpool at the moment.
The thing is, like, I know what you're saying there about, Mourinho buying titles and things like that. I think that with United, though, it is a little bit different where it's kind of our money that we're spending. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know that you're not saying that.
Commercially, Manchester United dominated, and they made the move, and you floated on the stock exchange and all that going back into the 90s, and that's where everyone else fell behind. That's the difference. Man United have built it properly, and they deserve to spend that money. I'm not saying that they don't, but they've got a manager who I think is comfortable spending that money, and I'm comparing it to Liverpool. Yeah. Liverpool don't have that money.
We've walked into a Man United, Man City argument there, haven't we? Clearly, we've clearly touched the Manchester-based nerve, but he's buying the title because effectively he's not building the academy. And look, we've seen him use a few guys last season, but don't be shocked to see a lot less of those guys under Mourinho when it's working with the guys that he's brought in, because that's what he does. Look at what he did with Chelsea. There was never any great ambition to bring guys through. He just wants to have. Well, no, but comparatively, Porto with the Man United of Porto or Benfica are going to win the title every year.
Not going to win the Champions League.
No, but then, the point is, he's a good manager, isn't he? He's a very good manager, but since then, he doesn't want to work any other way, and that's fair play to him, because if you're only going to be at a club for 3 years, who gives a fuck if you know, young little Timmy, 15-year-old who's been born and bred in
Benchill.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
think of poor Timmy.
Poor Timmy from Wythenshawe, whose dream it is to play at Old Trafford.
He's called Marcus Rashford and he plays every week.
Well, yeah, but you can't not play him. There's a difference, isn't there?
No, I don't give Mourinho credit for Marcus Rashford. Don't worry about that. Right, who will finish higher in the league? I think we've already answered this one early on, didn't we? I mean, at the minute, I think it's pretty obvious who's going to finish higher in the league.
I think after 7 games, 7 games played in the league, I think you would. You know, if you were a betting man, you'd put money on Man United to finish above Liverpool. Of course you would.
No, because I like the long odds of a Liverpool victory.
But you said
you don't make a lot of money on bets.
No. But you said it yourself over on our channel. You know, everyone was just creaming in the pants over Pep City last year. It's very early. All it takes is a couple of, you know, sticky results to follow on the analogy, and all of a sudden it's not quite as right as it was a few weeks prior to that. So I don't know. At the minute, Liverpool look like they're struggling to adapt to 2 games a week. We've not got that clinical finisher that you have got. So the smart money wouldn't be on Liverpool finishing higher up. Liverpool look very much like they're in that pool between 3rd and 6th, whereas Man United looks like 2 teams who are going to be challenging for the title this season. But that's after 7 games.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to say, I am joking when I say it's obvious we're going to finish above Liverpool. Only been 7 games. We don't know what's going to happen. But I think at the minute, based on what we've seen, you know, smart money's on United, yeah.
Thinks they're going to win the league.
I'm not saying it, but I'll nod.
Just trying to get him to say it. That's all I want to wear. Where do you think Liverpool will finish then? I mean, you were saying like between 3rd and 6th, but I mean, at top 4 place, surely that's what you've got to be aiming for.
No,
I mean, you look at the team though, and it's like, I mean, I look at Liverpool's team, and I think it genuinely, if you're looking from the strikers back, it looks brilliant. Okay.
It's like that guy you see on Instagram who's hench, but he skips leg day. Yeah. That's basically what Liverpool's team look like. Just his little spindly legs holding up this ridiculous torso.
Why are you following him on Instagram?
But for the laughs, Chris.
Okay.
Quickly, I just love upper arms. What can I say? That's why we've been friends for so long. The Vale Adonis. Yeah, you know, we've got a special thing, haven't we, Chris? I think when we play well, we play very, very well. When it clicks with Liverpool, it's great. Top 4, of course. Top 4 is the ambition. But there's 6 teams who want to finish top 4. Inevitably, there's 2 teams who are geared for it, that have got the squads for it, they've got the manager for it, and the fan base is desperate for it, and they're going to be devastated come May, because that's the way the league's
that's sort of what I mean though by like if that's your aim. Obviously, that's your aim, but what sort of reaction is it going to be? Because last season, if United didn't make the Champions League, which, you know, only through the Europa League we did actually make it, it would have genuinely been like catastrophic for us fans.
Yeah. And I think it would be. And because, as I said before, Liverpool are striving to win a league title, you know, and we're striving to do it in a different way. We need that Champions League money to be able to compete consistently. Because look, everyone cites Leicester as winning the league, great, but they haven't done it consistently. You know what I mean? We don't want to just win one league title. We want to win a league title and then continue to win league titles like other teams have done. And to do that, for us, it's about getting a solid base to build from. So getting back into the top 4 is absolutely paramount to everything we want to do in the future. You know, Jurgen Klopp's got good attacking players. He's not sorted the defence out yet. We all know that. But we're not a bad side. And the media will let you believe that we are. We've had a poor month. Of course we have. I think everyone can see that. But we haven't lost a catastrophic amount of points yet that we're completely out of top 4. You know, we're only a point behind Tottenham and Arsenal and that. So really, we've had a really poor start, and yet we're still with the people who are probably going to be around us at the end of the season.
It's still massively early doors as well, isn't it? Let's face it. I wanted to compare 2 players together, but I thought in United, with the way that things are going this season, it feels like no matter what argument you guys put across, everyone will be in the comments like, you're wrong, you're so wrong, look at what we've seen this season. But 2 players that I wanted to compare, I thought I'd go for a player that's not been at Man United too long, so we haven't seen maybe enough to fully I think he looks brilliant as it is, but you know, we've not seen enough to convince us that he's going to be like that all season or all his time at United. And a player who's been at Liverpool quite a bit, Jordan Henderson, and the United player Nemanja Matic as well. So I wanted to do sort of like a Matic versus Henderson thing. I'll let you guys get your opinion in first, but do you rate your guy above our man? Because Matic this season has genuinely just been like stunning. Like probably one of the most composed footballer I've seen at Old Trafford since, well, actually Michael Carrick, who's still there.
Yeah, go on, Chris.
Yeah, I really rate Jordan Henderson. You know, I think there's a lot of managers that have rated him. I mean, he come in at Liverpool and started playing right midfield and it didn't suit him. And I'm not 100% sure that the 6 actually does suit him brilliantly. I think, you know, he's had some injuries over his career. He's found himself in this 6 now. He intercepts the ball really well. He's had a poor start to the season, much like quite a lot of Liverpool players, in fairness. But when we were snotting teams at the beginning of last season, he was key to everything we were doing. You just had to look at some of the stats in football and how many passes he was making, his pass completion and all that type of stuff. But you don't need that. You can see it with your 2 eyes. You do the eyeball test on a midfielder, can't you? And that's what I like to do. And he's brilliant when he plays well. He's not had a strong start to the season, but, you know, I'm only going on Nemanja Matic from Chelsea. I've not seen loads of Manchester United this season, but I don't think Matic should be the guy that we'd need in that 6, because you need, for me anyway, and this might be incorrect on Matic, you need a guy who can pass the ball, who can dictate the tempo, who can also, you know, decide where you're going to play and how you're going to play, and I think that's what Jordan Henderson does really well. But again, he's not had a good start to the season. The
thing is with these midfield players, a lot of the time, they're the sort of, well, this is the case with Matic, and like I said, I've not watched a lot of Liverpool this season myself either, where they've a lot of the time you don't really realise how good a game they've had until you watch it back later on, and you're like, or if you're in the stadium, you see it a lot more than you do on TV. You're like, well, he really is running the show here, and that's what Matic has been for us this season. Like, he has been like the key player. He's not a glamour player, is he? He's the guy who allows the glamour players to do what they do, and that's the way Chris is right in saying that we don't set up with it in a system, and that's why ostensibly you'd be like they're comparable because they roughly play in the same position. You'd say defensive midfielders is how they're playing for both teams, but it's weird because I had a quick look at the at the stats and whatever just to see how they land up, because I had no idea. I thought it'd be an interesting thing, and like the pass completion in terms of it, like Matic is completing loads more passes and actually playing loads more forward passes, which any criticism of Henderson, you'll know all he ever does is play sided. Yeah, Henderson's and runs weird as well. Yeah, as Fergie said.
And he runs. He's got a weird game.
Weird run.
But he
minces.
Henderson's creating more chances. You know, he's being a more creative player from that deeper position. So they don't quite mesh together. It would be interesting to see how they would play in the midfield together more than a one or the other kind of situation.
You'd argue it would make more sense to compare Paul Pogba and Jordan Henderson, but I don't think there's any real comparison there, is there?
To be fair. But maybe like maybe an Herrera and a Henderson would be an interesting one, because they're both charged with breaking things up as well. So I don't know. It's I would take Jordan Henderson over the 2 of them, because I think there's more to his game. I think there's more energy to his game. I think he's faster. I think he's they're both physical. So when I say he's more physical, I don't mean Matic isn't physical. I mean his all-round physicality, I think, is better for Jordan Henderson. And I think he's just a bit more, I think he's more of a creative player than Matic is, which is what shades it for me. But if we played 4-2-3-1, I'd love to see Matic.
I think the simple thing for me is, kind of going back to what I said earlier, if you were picking someone to play Matic's position in Manchester United, you'd pick Matic. If you were playing someone to play Henderson's position in Liverpool, you'd pick Henderson.
You pick Pogba.
That's all I'm saying. Look, the guys agree with me. It's like, this is what I was saying, and that's what I was a little bit worried about. I was like, you kind of agree with me with too much here. There's not many arguments to be had, but
you could compare right wingers or left wingers.
We could compare left wingers. I'd have Mane over Martial or Rashford. Like,
really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's wait.
Absolutely.
What? Mane above Rashford or Martial?
Didn't you want Mane instead of them?
Mane looks great, don't get me wrong, of course. Well, at the time we probably did, but with what we've got at the minute, Anthony Martial is probably, in my opinion, one of the best young players I've ever seen at Man United.
Did you see what happened to Liverpool when Sadio Mane went to Africa for the Cup of Nations last season? That's how good he is. We didn't win for a month.
The talk shouldn't be look how bad we were when he went. It should be look how that we are when he's here.
Well, that's the exact same argument.
The same argument.
Well, no, you're average when he's here. And
well, how many goals has Martial scored this season?
I don't know how many goals Anthony Martial scored this season.
Less than Sadio Mane.
Well, I think we all remember his first one, don't we? And it's like, ever since we saw that, it was like, you've seen him first and you've seen what he can do. And he's been like that for me since he's been at Man United.
Martial's not a left winger.
More people want to rave about Marcus Rashford, apparently. And I mean, Marcus Rashford, when you talk about young English players, have you seen one comparable to him since Wayne Rooney?
No, you're right. Look, I think they're both terrific players. I just think Mane's a better player. I think they would be great backups to Sadio Mane. Absolutely.
Decent options off the bench.
Can you imagine a world where Mane is the first left winger at a club and Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial are the second and third?
Okay. Good. That was the response I was looking for. That's fine.
I'm not having it.
That's fine. You don't have to have it.
How have you managed to wind me up on my own debate? We're having a debate and I'm the one who's getting a red face here, even though it should be easy for me.
Matches your hair, it's fine.
Racist. Right, predictions. Give me your score predictions, boys. Go on, say that you're going to thrash us and tell me how you're going to thrash us as well.
We are going to concede a sloppy goal.
Right.
Which is probably our own fault.
Okay.
And we're going to win 3-1. And the only reason that I'm predicting a Liverpool win is because you came onto our show and predicted a Man United win. And I hate seeing Manchester United fans so confident because, I'll be honest, I'm not confident going into this game. I've got no reasons to be confident other than...
worries me. That worries me.
That's the way it should be. And seeing a Manchester United fan going in with loads of confidence is like, nah, this is why we've got to stick it to them. This is why we've got to beat them because we're 5 days out from the game or whatever. And you're just thinking it's easy. I'm going to have Derby belly for the next 4 days now. My stomach's going to be an absolute knot. And you're over there sunning yourself, smiling about it. No, it shouldn't be like that. And Liverpool have got to stand up and got to beat Manchester United so that smile gets wiped off his face. Agree with me by liking the video.
Liverpool, I think Mourinho's going to come and do what Mourinho does. I think he's going to play very defensive. I think he's going to park the bus. And I think all Liverpool's fears about how we don't know how to deal with that are going to be allayed because we've been creating a ridiculous number of chances against teams that have played like that this season. What we haven't had is that little, it just hasn't clicked in terms of sticking the ball in the back of the net. I don't think we'll bat it. I think what I mean is this could be like a 1-0 or a 2-1 where if we don't concede the sloppy goal, we could win it 1-0. If we do, we might have to win it 2-1 if we're going to win it all.
To me, right, everything says going into it when you're talking tactically and you're looking at the way the two teams have played and the way that we've played against teams that played the way that Liverpool played. Because I think that's one thing about United this season, as opposed to in the past where teams haven't been parking the bus against us this year, which is why we've been thrashing so many teams because they're so open at the back. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with Liverpool. You're just going to, you're going to go for it. It's, what is it that he calls it? Heavy metal football. You're going to properly see that at Anfield. And I feel like everything says that United can go there and completely smash us, but it's United versus Liverpool. And I hate this. What you've just said, you've perfectly summed it up there. Like, you hate seeing me so excited and happy going into it. I hate seeing myself like this. I'm usually exactly the same, like shitting myself all week going into it. And it worries me that I'm so confident, but I can't look past the United win. I really, really can't. So I'll keep it conservative and say 3-1. But I think it could be.
It's conservative.
It could be a couple more.
Get out.
It could be a couple more.
Oh my God.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us. This has been the Full-Time Devils Man United Liverpool debate today from the Ball Street Social Studios with the Redmen TV as well. So if you want to see what's going on, all things Scouse, you can go and subscribe to them if you want. Right, thank you very much for joining us today. Get in the comments, get in the likes, give us a subscribe as well. We're trying to reach 500,000 before the end of the season, but I think that's probably going to be a thing that only happens if we win the league or get relegated. So yeah, guys, do all that.
Option number 2.
See you in a bit. Laters.